The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Wonders they say shall never cease to happen. And if you are new here, you are welcome. Is the French government protecting the president of Guinea, Mamadi Doumbouya? That is the big question right now after a strange decision by a court in France. For months, a major legal battle has been happening in the dark in the south of France. A journalist went to court against the French state. Why, you may ask? Because the president of Guinea and his wife, Mamadou Doumbouya, are building a massive, expensive house in the French countryside. African leader. Under French law, any citizen has the right to see building permits. But when the journalist asked to see the permits for this house, the local town hall and the government refused. They gave a shocking excuse. They said, showing these public papers will hurt state security and damage relations between France and Guinea. The case finally went to a judge. But instead of making a real choice, the judge decided to avoid the problem. The judge said there was no urgency and put off the final decision for months. To make things worse, the town hall officials didn't even show up to court. This delay is a big deal. It gives Doumbouya and his wife plenty of time to finish building this massive house. By the time the court finally makes a decision, the mansion will be completely done. Usually, if a building breaks local rules like this, it has to be torn down. But the French system is giving them the time they need to finish it. So why is France protecting this house? The real secret is what is being built underneath the mansion. News reports show that high-level officials all the way up to the president's palace put pressure on the local mayor to hide the building permits. Why? Because sources say that underneath the house, they are building a secret bunker and a secure safe room. A military leader from Guinea does not need a bomb shelter in the south of France. Instead, a safe room like this is used for one clear reason: to hide massive amounts of cash and wealth.
Does the French justice system protect the president of Guinea, Mamadi Doumbouya? This is certainly the question one might ask after the verdict of the Administrative Court of Nîmes. Many of you were very numerous in following this case, this trial that pitted me against the French state and centered on the house under construction of Mamadi Doumbouya and his wife in the south of France. You know, I was requesting access to the building permits for this house, which are normally available to any citizen, and the town hall and the prefecture were refusing me on the grounds that it would harm the security of the state and the good relations between the French state and the Guinean state. There was a hearing, I had told you about it, on the 17th of June at the Nîmes court, and I received the verdict on my birthday. So what is both quite funny and quite frustrating is that the judge, the summary judge, decided not to make a decision, not to rule, and postponed the final decision to a hearing that will take place in a few months. In fact, the judge decided there was no urgency to rule, despite the fact that I have been requesting these permits for over 6 months and the town hall did not even show up at the hearing, which indicates a certain contempt for justice. It is true that we can regret this decision because it will allow Mamadi Doumbouya and his wife to finish the work on this house, which is described by Midi Libre, a major regional daily in the south of France, as a construction site. pharaonic, and we will present everyone with the fait accompli by saying here, this house is finished. There is nothing left to contest, even though very likely this construction violated French urban planning rules and should have been demolished at the owner's expense, namely the Doumbouya couple. Of course, it doesn't necessarily make me happy. I will have to return to Nimes for a new trial, write pages and pages of briefs to respond to the arguments of the French state, which will try at all costs to defend its good little soldier Doumbouya. I will have to incur expenses again, but I tell myself that this case has something good, which is that we are pulling threads. We are uncovering something big. There is a real Streisand effect because following the hearing on the 17th of June, it attracted the attention of other media. Notably, one of the major regional newspapers in the south of France called Midi Libre did an article on this house of Mamadi Doumbouya and revealed that the mayor of the commune of Les Mages, where the house is located, has been under pressure. And it's true that I heard there were even pressures from the Élysée not to grant these building permits. And above all, there is a source indicating in the Midi Libre article that under Mamadi Doumbouya's house, a bunker is being built with a secure room. So I don't think the Doumbouya couple is afraid of a nuclear attack, but it's probably to stash money, currencies that have been stolen from the Guinean people and brought back to France. We remember that when Mamadi Doumbouya was hospitalized last March in Singapore, there was a private jet that left Conakry, which took Mamadi Doumbouya's wife and eldest daughter and landed in Montpellier in the south of France, so not far from this house. At night, outside the airport's opening hours, which might suggest that there were not only passengers on board that plane, but the French state decided to turn a blind eye due to the special relations between Emmanuel Macron and Mamadi Doumbouya, who was supposed to come to the Élysée in September. There you go. So we will have to wait a few months before a final judgment. Don't worry, I know that in the French state there are many people who would prefer that I don't dig into this matter. I have even received warnings, tours. I will talk to you about it soon. But what people don't know is that I am Alsatian. My name is Dietrich, and in Alsace we are extremely stubborn, and I am determined to shed full light on this matter, to have the French state condemned for the protection it granted illegally to Mamadi Doumbouya, and especially to ensure that African dictators no longer find in France a haven where they will be protected by an Emmanuel Macron or even by the next president who comes to power. Because ultimately, France-Afrique is not the matter of a single man, it's the matter of a system that must continue to be fought against again and again.
We have seen this kind of shady behavior before. Last year, while Doumbouya was in the hospital in Singapore, a private jet secretly left Guinea at night. It landed in the middle of the night at a nearby French airport outside of normal hours. Doumbouya's wife and daughter were on board. It is highly likely they were moving more than just a passenger on that flight. Yet, the French government closed its eyes. This is because French President Emmanuel Macron has a very close relationship with Mamadi Doumbouya. In fact, the Guinea leader is already invited to visit France officially this September. The French government wants to delay the court and hope people forget about this story. But their plan backfired. Trying to hide the papers has only brought more international attention to the secret estate. The fight to expose this corruption is not over, even though it takes a lot of time and money. The push for answers will continue. So, this clearly shows us, like what they are alleging is happening in Paris right now, is the reason to which we are seeing that there are some military leaders that are not being pursued. Like one time, One French senator asked the same question. Why is it that when it came to the Sahelian leaders, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they were quick in giving sanctions, yet Doumbouya and Ivory Coast and other African countries that are changing constitutions in the French territory, nothing is done to them. They only offer lip services. So this is why our hero, our prophet, Thomas Sankara one time told us before he died that any leader in Africa you see the West praising and dining with, you should understand that that leader has finished you already. That is exactly what is happening. We have leaders who can't act. Leaders that nobody is chasing them. And we are asking the exact same question the French senator asked. Why are they after Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? And he said, because these ones are not allowing them to exploit them. Like Mark in EU Parliament also made the same argument that the reason to which they are bent on chasing and replacing and causing regime change in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso is because they don't allow them to carry the resources for free, nationalizing the resources to take care of their people, and not allowing them to have the cheap gold, the lithium, the oil out of the Sahel region. They prefer to serve their people, like the ECOWAS chairperson Mada Bio said, that they have failed the people. Why? Because they have decided to protect borders instead of protecting us, the people. So when you look at what is happening right now, with this alleged information, nobody will tell you why. We have leaders and they can't act. We are seeing what is happening in Equatorial Guinea. We hope that this trend will continue. When will we wake up and choose our people over others? We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Guinea.